Hey everybody, welcome. We're getting ready to do a video here on making a bottle cap. Got almost 1,000 bottle caps in here. I've built this table. At the end I'll walk around and show you the table, but I built this table out of plywood and 2x4s. I've stained it. Now what I'm getting ready to do, I've sealed it. What I'm getting ready to do now is put some tile adhesive down, and I'm gonna stick the bottle caps in. The reason why I'm doing the tile adhesive is once I put the caps down and they dry, I'm gonna come back and grout them. So this is gonna take a little bit of time, so I'm gonna put you on time lapse. So you can watch us in time lapse do this. I've got my two helpers, my little guys here, who will probably cause more trouble than help, but hey, what do you expect? So let's get to it. Okay, so here it is a couple hours later. I finished putting the mortar down and putting all these things, caps in. See if we can come in, let you get a view of some of those caps. You know, I really tried to balance the color, but I'll tell you, after about a couple hours, you just start getting ready to be done. One thing I did was I had the American flag, so I put that in kind of the middle and both of the corners. But here's the table. Just like I said, a bunch of 2x4s, 1x4. You know, once I got it framed out, I came along with some 1x4s. I mitered the edges just to kind of cover it up. But also, I wanted to give, you can maybe see it there, a lip. So tomorrow I will grout this, and then I will mix epoxy and put the epoxy on top and have a little seal over it. But you know, some of my favorite caps in here, you know, look at that. My son really likes the tractor one. You know, I can't believe I had a old Mecklenburg brewery. I'm from North Carolina originally, living in Texas now, and that was one of my favorite, just kind of favorite beers to get. But you know, a nice mix of caps. You can kind of see underneath. One of the things that I was going to do was run some shelves under there, but I really kind of like the way this is. I'm going to put this in my game room, so we got enough room to have some seats, you know, to be able to sit. And so we'll come back tomorrow. I don't know if I'll video grouting, maybe a little bit of a video, but I will video the epoxy. I don't know why I'm just so fascinated by these bottle caps. So just trying to give you kind of a view of some of the caps that I got. I know that's probably coming in a little blurry there. Hopefully that's coming in a little bit better. You know, like that cap. Unfortunately, when I say unfortunately, I didn't drink all of these. So I drank some of these. But then, you know, when I got the idea, I realized I needed some caps. So I just got some more caps. I really like this cap here. But I got some more caps from eBay. Cool Papa Bell. You know, really, that's probably one of my favorite caps there. But all right, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll grout and let that dry, and then we'll get ready to put the seal on. As I don't know if I mentioned before, but 903 bottle caps for this table. So turned out to be a little bit bigger than I was going for, but hey, everything is bigger in Texas, right? Okay, everybody. All right, welcome back. Got a little glare going on. Sorry about that. I think that's the sun reflecting off of the metal in here. But it's the next day. Yep, I'm wearing the same shirt I did last night, but I washed it. These are the only kind of, I'd say, throwaway kind of clothes that I have. But we're back. This has set overnight. It's dried. If you kind of see, these things are settled in. You can't pick them up. I've got the Grout mixed up. I just got some pre-packet Grout from Lowe's, and this is a like a warm gray Ultra Color Plus. Just bought a couple of those to be able to do. So got it in. I'm going to start grouting, then we'll come back. Not wanting to come out of there. And I can already see here that I'm gonna have to get some more grout. Okay. I've got half the table grouted, and the reason that is because I ran out of grout. You know, like I was saying earlier, I hadn't necessarily anticipated the table becoming this big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this dry about 30 to 15 minutes. I'll wipe it down. But once I get the grout off the caps, you know, wipe that down, and then I'll have to go to Lowe's and get some more grout, because I'm probably gonna have some cracks in there. I think my first mixture came out a little bit more liquidy versus kind of a paste from a grout perspective, but hopefully Lowe's has some more grout the same color, and then we'll come back. I'll come back and show you me wiping this down, and then we'll go to Lowe's and we'll do the other half. Okay, we're back. It's been about 30 minutes. We've got an old shop cloth here. I'm just gonna wet it, and give a wipe down here. find another one. Now I'm just kind of taking a dry cloth, just going over. This is probably going to have to dry again, or let it kind of dry again. I think I probably had that grout on a little wet and a little thick. So, all right, we'll be back in about another 15, 20, 30 minutes. All right, we're back. I've been to Lowe's. I have re-upped on the mortar, or grout, I'm sorry. And so I bought a bag, so I'm sure I'll have some extra left over, but that's okay. We're just gonna dump this grout out here, and we're gonna get busy. If I have to mix some more up, we'll stop and we'll mix some more up. I just didn't want to make the bucket too heavy, or just so I could be sure that I got it mixed up. And I can already tell you we're probably going to have to mix some more up, but that's okay. Okay, let's start spreading. Going back and just trying to blend in where I stopped before. Do those areas first. Trying to make sure I stay out of the way of the camera there. Maybe when I show this, we'll put some music on, so at least you just don't have to listen to the sound of tiles scraping. Or, not tiles, bottle caps. This consistency, this go around, is much better. I find I'm actually getting more spread than I did before, or actually more coverage, which is great. So these kind of less cracks that I'll have to deal with. And just like we were thinking, we're gonna have to mix some more, which is okay. I want to make sure I'm able to do two things. I have to go around the edges there and make sure that okay. I'm gonna put you on pause while I mix up some more. All right, we got some more grout mixed up, and I think we got enough here to finish it off. So I'm just getting the gloves on. Here would be my advice if you're doing grout. Even if you get those buckets that say fill water to here, I would just add a little bit of water at a time and mix it, because you could always add, more water. But if you add too much water, that's tough to come back from unless you have more grout to mix it with. Fortunate this time that I do, because I bought the bag. I did have those little pre-bucket things that had a fill to kind of water line, and it made it really just kind of really wet and runny. It was really tough to kind of work with. Yeah, I think I got enough. Definitely got enough grout. I'll be able to kind of actually spread this around, trying to stay out of the way of the camera there. One of the things that's hard for you to see that I'm trying to do is get grout kind of around the edges, and that'll give me, I could save epoxy doing that, because then the grout just needs to go on top of, I just have to make sure I come back through with a cloth here, clean these edges off, because I don't want the grout to show. One side kind of grouted through there. Sorry, I need to get in this little corner here. I'm actually going to come back down this way and hit some of these spots down here that I didn't get. Must be getting a little a thunderstorm here in Texas. Katy, Texas, in all these storms here. All I'm doing now is just kind of coming back through to fill in these edges. It'll just, like I said, save me some epoxy, which is a good thing. Very first house that I bought, no experience at all. Ripped up the day we closed on the house, went in, ripped up all the carpet, all the linoleum, and tiled the entire downstairs. That was, I don't know, a small house then, about 700 square feet of tile. which, you know, never having tiled before. Didn't know what I was doing. But, you know, turned out okay. There were a few rough spots, just timing and things like that. It was actually kind of funny. We had the cable guy come out, and he was doing the cable, and he put, I guess he was running kind of the box and the wires in the kind of downstairs coat closet, and that was an area where I ran out of tile. And we had bought all the particular style of these particular tiles, so there were no more. So I just decided that in that area there, I would have a little bigger space. So my grout lines were going to be a little bit bigger. And the cable guy was like, hey buddy, you may want to get your tile guy back out here. Like, well, you got him, what do you need? I think it kind of embarrassed him. You know, hey, I did it on purpose, so I knew that there were going to be some challenges or some problems with that tile. Okay, I think I've got pretty good coverage now. Feel like I've got the corners pretty grouted in. What I'm going to do though is clean off this little tool I'm using. And I'm gonna come back by and scrape the sides. I'm really just trying to keep it as flat as I can around the sides. So, okay. I think for the sake of this part, I'll show you what I'll do is I'll come back when I wipe it off. We'll show you the wipe down. I'll give you a close-up view of everything, and then we'll be ready for the epoxy. All right, welcome back. As you can see, I went ahead and just put a another coat over the whole table. I really just didn't want it to be uneven, but I gotta tell you, and sitting here looking at all these beer bottle caps just really made me thirsty. So, you know, I got little Houston, Texas St. Arnold's IPA. You know, just getting the spirit. But we're back. I'm gonna give it its first wipe down right now. It's probably been drying about 20 minutes. You know, some of it looks still a little wet. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it at least its first initial wipe down, and then I'll probably let it dry again. So, all right, let's get busy. I think I'm gonna do this with my glove off. I can just get better grip. Just gonna take them both off. The good thing about this grout is it does come off easy. This is gonna be a multiple cloth endeavor here, I think. That's okay. All I'm trying to do is just get this first coat off, or at least the high level coat that's on the lids, so the lids can start shining through. This is okay. This will come off. Let me get another cloth. Might need to do a couple more cloths here, as those are soaking down there. Yeah, I like these little little shop costs. I think I got these on Amazon for really good price. Don't worry, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not an affiliate. You search and find the best ones that are right for you at the price that you think are good. But I'm just telling you, I like these little Amazon cloths. They were really affordable, and I got a pretty good amount of them. I think this may wind up taking a little longer than I thought. Can't forget that I got the some caps in the corner here, and I definitely don't want to lose. Look at that! I had a cap come up. Huh? That was glue that was stuck down in there. So now, let me see if I can fix this. Okay. I'll keep wiping everything down. But that little corner, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some fresh water in my bucket, and we'll come back and we'll do it again. Okay, refreshed the water, cleaned up these rags. I was able to at least fill in that section with a little bit more grout, which will be fine as long as the grout will hold the cap down when we pour the epoxy. I mean, that's really, because you just don't want the caps to start floating. What I'll do is, once I'm kind of done here, giving these things these wipes, I'll bring you closer by to really get a good look, and I'll show you that section. I'm just going to be careful when we go over that section. And this, I think, is just me in this little section here, not really spreading the grout out even enough. So that's why you see it still kind of thick and wet there. Can't say that's what she said there, can I? I guess I can. Just really gonna be careful in this little corner here. I almost need to see if I could just maybe scrape some of that up. I'm really trying to take advantage of using the cloths before I have to go wipe them down again. As I'm wiping down, I'm also trying to, you see that didn't really work, I'm trying to keep the edges clean. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go around real quick before this stuff dries. Just make sure the edges are clean of some of this grout that we're getting on it. That's the nice thing about working with grout. You got a little bit of time and there's a lot of forgiveness. One of the things you could have done if you didn't want to grout these in is you could have just put a thin layer of epoxy down. Just a thin layer, just enough to be able to catch the caps and just let them set in it, because really what you're trying to avoid is when you do the flood coat, that's the kind of the top layer coat, is you're really just trying to avoid the caps from floating up. Okay. Okay. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this dry a little bit more. But before I do, I really do want to see if I can maybe get stuff off that edge there before it gets really baked on there and hard to get off. So I'm just going to do a good wipe on these edges here. See, it's really, some of those is already kind of starting to looking for it to be perfect, and some of the imperfections are, you know, kind of what makes the table unique. And that's okay. Just tried to. A lot of grout there. I'm going to take this back over here and see if I can even this out a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. As I've said in most of my videos, you've probably seen a lot of the things that I do. I'm a novice at. I'm kind of self-taught, so sometimes a lot of the things I do look exactly like I did them. I'm not hired a professional, but that's okay. This is fun for me. I like trying to learn new skills, challenge myself, try things I've never done. And you know, you saw a little bit earlier, I had my boys out here helping me, so that's the other thing. Just trying to get them used to, you know, working around tools, not being afraid to try things and fail. Hey, you know, not everything comes out perfect the first time. All right, like I said, I'm gonna let this dry now. I'm gonna go redo the water again, but once it's all kind of cleaned up and dry, I'll come back and I'll show you a close-up version, and then we'll get ready for the epoxy tomorrow. Okay, I just decided to go ahead and just do another one here, just showing you the wipe down. Coming in here, this is the kind of the next one. I'll get my little guy here to help after I do this first pass, but it's so kind of pops with color, doesn't it?
Right when you do it, it's like has that stuff on it, and then it's beautiful.
You get that dust off of there. Pull it out like this, and just wipe in a circle motion. Don't press too hard, Because if the grout's still wet, you don't want to put a thumbprint in or anything like that.
There, look, I found a Bud Light one.
You found a Bud Light one?
Yeah, right there. And one right here. Yeah, what are we? Oh yeah, Dad, you said we would get from the restaurant tonight.
No, we're gonna have steak and mac and cheese.
But you said we would get from a restaurant tonight.
Yeah, but you guys weren't necessarily the greatest last night. Plus, I'm making a video, Chief. Should I tell everybody in YouTube world?
Well, you actually making a video right now?
Yes.
No one's gonna be able to watch this. No one's gonna watch it. Hi.
At least I have one supporter. He's probably the one person that was a subscriber and
And
unsubscribed.
now you can like
My
you
7-year-old.
can put the thing on after you try all this.
Well, we gotta let the grout dry, bud. If the grout doesn't dry, we don't want that thing.
I like it just like this, but we don't want to get scrapes in the grout by accident.
I think that section's clean, bud. What I'm doing now is just kind of going around, looking for spots that maybe
Oh, Dad,
has.
look. You see the glue.
Yeah. It's like I was saying on the a little bit earlier. I'm not a professional,
No, you're not.
so sometimes, but this is how you learn, right? What did we say? We said next time that we would do this, we'd probably just put a thin layer of epoxy down and let that stick.
Instead of just doing grout.
Instead of doing the mortar and the grout. Okay. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna let this, we'll put it right here on the side. We're gonna let this dry and then we're gonna come back and give it its final wipe down. So we're not gonna show you that. We'll come back tomorrow when we mix the epoxy and pour the epoxy. I got my little helper. All of a sudden now, guess who's into collecting soda cap bottles? But we don't let him drink that much soda. He has one now, but he's gonna start collecting them because he says he wants to make stuff, which is great. Okay, we're back. I've given it its final wipe down. Final wipe down. Sorry about that. I don't know what came over that, but you can see. So we're gonna come in a little close. You can kind of get a sense now. This is what I was talking about, like around the edges. And I had to kind of have a pretty wide space right there. Just, I guess, the design of the table when I made it to make the bottle caps fit in. And this is that spot you saw me earlier when I pulled up the glue stick, that American flag bottle cap came out. So I put it back in. We've got grout around it. It should be pretty level with everything else. Like I said, I just need to hold it enough for the epoxy to go down. And so what I've done is I've gone through, looked at all the caps where I had grout. I got those off. The thing I'll do tomorrow, I won't show you that, is I'm gonna vacuum over this just as grout dries, and if it breaks apart, we can get those little pieces off so that doesn't surface up into the epoxy. And so we're gonna let this dry until the morning time because I really wanna make sure that, it gets a chance to dry, really kind of turn gray versus kind of looking still kind of wet. But so that's it. Everything's in. We'll get all, like I said, get all those little pieces in, but it's catch-22 whether you want to grout these things. Like I said, the benefit of putting the grout in here now and filling in these spaces is that'll be less epoxy. And epoxy is expensive. For a half a gallon of Total Boat for the resin and the hardener is like $65. So that's not a lot of times I want to be buying epoxy to kind of fill this space. But I'm gonna kind of step back now, give you that view. We're pretty much done here. There's my Vanna White showing all the bottle caps. We'll let this dry till tomorrow. We'll come back and we'll put epoxy on it. So until tomorrow. All right, welcome back. It's actually the evening time. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the epoxy, mainly for a couple reasons. Tomorrow's Father's Day. I don't have to be dealing with this on Father's Day. And B, I think this is dried enough. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've vacuumed. I've got the epoxy here, Total Boat. This is part A. This is the resin. It's a 1-to-1 mixture, so it'll just be, we'll just dump the full container. Then we got the part B, which is the hardener. I've got a bucket here that I'm gonna mix in, as always, for safety. I've got a little mask on. So we're gonna open this up. You notice I've got the kid over there. He's got his safety on. And we're gonna pour this in.
This is gonna be hard, not able to use both hands. Should I go get one of those other gloves to put on?
I thought you were putting medical gloves on.
I'll go. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'll be right back. I'll be right back out.
Just gonna let this drain out. The optimal temperature for this is between 70 and 85. We're in Texas, so we don't have any problems here. You know, there's a whole list of things in the back. You can't, you know, you're not supposed to smell this stuff, taste this stuff, let it get on your skin. You can't look at it or anything like that. You know, that part I'm kidding on. But okay. We're going to
say that. If you can't look at it, how would you use it?
We're gonna go to the part B now, which is the hardener, and then
Help.
we have to stir it, and we have to stir it for quite a few minutes.
Why can't you what if you accidentally breathed it in? What would happen?
Well, it's just chemicals, so
Oh.
I could.
Should we wear some safety goggles just in case?
You should.
Okay, I'll go get those.
The hardener definitely flowed
Where are the safety goggles?
much faster. Pull off the drawer. Much faster than the resin piece.
You.
Okay. I'm gonna put the lid on. And now we have to stir for like 4 or 5 minutes. So, got my trusty little stirrer here. So,
right now it's 8:37. So are we gonna use these to like flatten it? I'm gonna just cut mine. Find a Bud Light.
I'll probably put this on speed mode.
here, you stir for a little bit. I'll just put my
Ooh,
I'll watch
hard
on.
to stir. Then I want to see if it's gonna harden on this stick after it's all done. Can't come near this stuff.
Let me see.
No, I can't. I'm just going here. Are you guys in a video?
Yeah.
Dad, what are we gonna do with the leftovers if we have any? Are we just gonna keep
garden tie.
What? Are we gonna use it for the coasters, or what if that accidentally dies?
Well,
Are you just gonna pour it, or are we just gonna try to take scoop up this? And
I'm
then
gonna
just
pour it in the middle and
I got- I'm
we'll see
holding-
what happens.
I'm holding yours and mine, so when you need yours, I'll give yours to you. Okay. This one's for when you want to be funky.
What we need to do is probably
Move that away. This is my hair is getting in the way. I need a haircut. Like, how do you think it looks before and after? Like, with before the grout was all wet and stuff, what do you think it looks like now? How good does it look?
I mean, I kind of like the contrast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe you should put some links in the description, some videos that you found this from, that you got the idea from.
You really have to stir this stuff for a long time, and as I'm stirring it, I can see the air bubbles coming up in it. And that's what that heat gun, I've got a heat gun here that I'll use, and that'll be to really get the air bubbles out of this. Mm-hmm.
But this one has a witch thing on it.
That one there.
Yeah, it has the witch pot with the witch broom. Oh, my hair.
Yep.
How much does this hold and how much does that hold?
That holds 2 quarts and this holds 5 quarts.
So that's the bigger one?
Yep. Just just gotta keep stirring this. You want to work all the.
So what time can you pour that?
We'll probably pour another 2 minutes.
Oh, Dad, look. This one has a beer on it. I think that's the perfect one to do cheese with.
Yeah, we gotta be careful. If it runs over, we're just gonna let it run over.
But when it dries up like that,
We'll be able to,
pull that right off.
yeah.
This would be weird if it accidentally ran over and then you tried pulling it off and you pulled the whole entire layer off. This is Bud Light because it says BL.
Yes.
Oh, I can see it's the same little flash thing right here. You're getting it all over here.
Yeah, we're about to pour it.
That feels so smooth. I'll just go throw that in the glass. Or you can throw it there. Whoa, the way you just pour it and it went off. Ooh, that stinks.
It's self-leveling.
Dad, can you smell that through your mask?
You see. You're probably gonna have to
Dad, do that too?
mix up some more.
You have more?
I do.
What happened if you ran out fully out of all of it?
Well, we ran out. We wouldn't necessarily wouldn't line up evenly.
Oh, this looks so nice and shiny.
Just all right. That's what I'm trying to do is just make sure,
It's all to the edges.
well, that it all covers the caps. Covers all the caps.
I'm gonna fill in all these edges that don't get it.
Now the question is, do we want to do
Well, I don't think
more?
No, I think we don't because what if it gets out of line? Just probably not gonna happen. Just oh, there's a bubble here.
Yeah, don't worry about the bubbles.
Okay. Just smoothly.
I'll take the gun and get the bubbles out.
Oh, then you can kind of see through that cement looking stuff is dirty.
Yeah, it's
Or
okay.
is that just brown because of this?
It's okay. I think I want to put a little bit more in.
Really?
Yeah, so hold that. I want to make sure that we've got a good amount. So let me go ahead and
Where's the?
take the hoop gun.
These are all.
put a little bit more in because I want the, yeah. So I took the heat gun to go over this to get the bubbles out. It's funny, as soon as you go over it, the bubbles will start to come out. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit more epoxy in because I want it to be a little bit thicker. So we'll come back to you.